Hi everybody! This half term we're thinking about leaders and teachers in Christianity, and we're thinking especially about the question, why do Christians trust Jesus and follow him? We're going to find out about the first people who started to trust and follow Jesus. Think about times when you followed somebody, perhaps when you're playing the game of Follow My Leader. What about when you've had to trust somebody, perhaps when you're playing a game where you're blindfolded? How does that feel? Think about some of your friends, or maybe your best friend. How does it feel to know that they care about you and like playing with you, and that you can trust them? We're going to watch a video to find out about the first people who trusted and followed Jesus.
Hi there, welcome back to the Bible Quest adventure. After Jesus was baptised, he had spent time in the desert preparing for the work he needed to do. Now he was ready for action, but there was a lot to do, and he knew he would need some friends to help him. Jesus had a lot of friends who he would visit and sometimes stay with. Among his best friends were two sisters and their brother, Mary, Martha and Lazarus. Jesus also had 12 very close friends, who we call the disciples. A disciple is someone who follows and tries to be like someone else. Jesus needed some people who would follow him, who would learn from him and try to be like him. He knew that one day they would also have to take over the job that he was doing. So they had to be very special people, chosen just for that job. Jesus knew just who he was looking for. All he needed to do now was go out and ask them to join him.
Jesus was walking by a lake called the Sea of Galilee. As he walked, he saw two brothers, Simon, called Peter, and his brother Andrew. They were fishermen and were casting a net into the sea. "Come and follow me," Jesus said, "and I will make you fishers of men." At once they left their nets and followed him. Then Jesus saw two other brothers, James and his brother John. They were in a boat with their father Zebedee, mending their nets. Jesus called to them, "Come and follow me," and immediately they left the boat and their father and followed him. At another time, Jesus saw a man named Matthew. Matthew was sitting in a tax office. Jesus said to him, "Follow me," and Matthew stood up and followed Jesus. Jesus had dinner at Matthew's house. Many tax collectors and sinners came and ate with Jesus and his followers. The Pharisees, who were the religious leaders at the time, saw this and asked Jesus' followers, "Why does your teacher eat with tax collectors and sinners?" Jesus heard the Pharisees ask this, so he said, "Healthy people don't need a doctor, only the sick need a doctor. Go and learn what this means. I want faithful love more than I want false sacrifices that mean nothing. I did not come to invite good people, I came to invite sinners." These people were the first people that Jesus called to be his disciples, but he called others too. There was Philip, Bartholomew, Thomas, James, Judas Thaddeus, Simon the Zealot, and Judas Iscariot, 12 disciples in total. There were also others that followed Jesus, including some women. Everywhere that Jesus went, his disciples followed him and learned from him.
The first disciples must have known that Jesus was very special to stop what they were doing and to follow him. Although these were the first disciples, there were many more who followed Jesus and wanted to be like him, both at the time Jesus was on earth and since then. Today, Christians who follow Jesus are still known as disciples. Christians are people who want to know Jesus, to learn from him, and to do what he says, even though it's tough. It's not always easy being a disciple of Jesus, but Christians believe that it is the best thing anyone could ever choose to do. That's it for this part of the Bible Quest adventure. Join us again next time to learn more about what Jesus did while he was here on earth. Bye!
Our learning objective is to know about the first people who started to trust and follow Jesus. They were called the 12 disciples. Can you remember all of their names? There was Simon Peter, Andrew, James, John, Philip, Bartholomew, Matthew, Thomas, James son of Alphaeus, Simon the Zealot, Judas son of James, and Judas Iscariot. They were the first 12 disciples who followed Jesus. Here's a question for you to think about. Why do you think the disciples decided to go with Jesus when he called them? So we've thought about the first people who started to trust and follow Jesus. They were called the 12 disciples. If you're in year R or year 1, can you draw a picture of the 12 disciples and Jesus? Do you think the disciples would have had smiles on their faces, or were they sad? Make sure you draw their faces to show what you think. If you're in year 2, you can also draw a picture of Jesus and the 12 disciples. Can you draw some speech bubbles to show what they might have been saying to each other? And then, underneath your picture, write and finish this sentence. I think the first disciple trusted Jesus to be their leader because... and then you can write your own ideas.